Hi everyone, I'm Ela Avrami from Doodle, as presented. And today I'm going to show you our war story of how we battle spam. So Doodle is a scheduling platform. I guess that most of you are familiar with this, with our most popular product, which is the Doodle poll, where you can just suggest time to meet and everyone can vote on each time. So in this poll, you can just enter a title, enter a description, you can set messages, and they all will end up eventually as emails to the participants or the invitees to those polls. So you can see the actual entry point for spammers. They can use the titles, the descriptions, and the messages to actually send their content. And just that you will have an idea of how this spam looks like, here is an example for spam email. Yeah, single mom, no kids, very creative. And now I would like to show you, after we understood what exactly are we facing, I would like to show you the back and forth that we have on a timeline of the spam war. So here we can see the number of emails that we send every week. So it is about 8 million emails. And the blue line is the delivered emails, the pink line is for the opens, and the orange line is for the blocks by our email provider. And basically, a good indication for having spam is whenever the blue line is above the pink line. So that when the delivers is higher than the opens. So as you can see, we had two spam wars. And the email provider couldn't really help blocking that. We can see that the orange line is much lower than the peaks that we have when we had spam. So it all started around February 18, when we first had the Bangladesh click farms started abusing our polls. We tried many things, lots of traditional solutions, but the one that actually worked was the reCAPTCHA implementation. So they couldn't automate as they automated before, but still they used some tools to actually bypass this, the reCAPTCHA implementation. So we had to upgrade to some invisible reCAPTCHA. But still, they started using those polls manually and send their content just by inserting the stuff, the emails and the content manually. So eventually, we reduced the number of allowed emails per poll, and they disappeared. And yeah, then they were back again. I mean, not the same Bangladesh people, maybe some of them still, but on around May 19, we started seeing spam again. So then we implemented some basic model based on logistic regression, just with a bag of words to actually block those messages, to classify those polls as spam polls and to block them. And as you can see, they found another channel that we didn't consider. So we eventually also covered this channel, but as you can see, it took time to cover this channel, and basically it was because of a human resources problem. And I guess that most of you are familiar with these problems, that when you have something and you're trying to solve something, you need to convince the people in your company to actually devote the resources to solve the problem. So it took time, but luckily we had the AWS and our email provider threads to shut us down if we won't act quickly. So suddenly we had the resources needed and we solved it. Yeah. And when it got a little bit more stable, we created a more sophisticated model, and that's this area that we basically used several models, but this is something that you need to understand. This long period of time was about not fitting the model, because actually fitting was really easy. I mean, we got nearly 0 false positives and almost 99% true negatives. True positives. So that wasn't the problem. The real problem is that we faced humans, and after a few days, they just found some loopholes. I mean, on each training that we did and labeling, they just found some loophole and they tricked our model. So we had to label again and again. So if you will see the evolution of messages or the text that they used, yeah, we used this bag of words, so they started using punctuations and numbers and stuff, and then they moved to just misspellings. So let me just elaborate a bit about this model that we do have now. We are taking the text fields, and as I said before, we started with bag of words, we moved to bag of syllables. So basically, we are just we're creating tokens, like similarly to BERT and Elmo. But the thing is that BERT is about regular text, right? It's not about an adversary text. So we had to do some pre-processing to remove some characters, punctuation numbers, and stuff like that. And along with that, we also had some more features fed to a random forest, which basically gave the solution. But we still had to label. At some point, it was everyday labeling, and it was too far. So we realized it won't go away if we won't act differently. And we decided to go radical and just remove the links that we saw that they are very popular in those stuff. So we removed the links from the free polls, and it finally made them go away. So to sum it up, we as the data team of Doodle started this project as an NLP project, but quickly it became an adversary problem. So we combined our model and some traditional solutions to actually solve this problem. And in the end, we actually gain the awareness of the product managers and the whole company towards data, which is a big win. And that's it. Thank you.